It's a known truth that things go out of fashion, but they have a habit of coming back around. Retro-tastic or vintage-inspired evolutions improve with more oomph. PHEVs aren't really old enough to be considered vintage, but the Lynk&Co 08 EMP is riding that wave of new, better PHEVs, kind of the hipster of new energy vehicles. Do we like hipsters yet? Because I quite like this car. I don't want there to be any confusion. There are several trim levels of the Lynk&Co 08 EMP, but these are the key takeaways. The entry-level single-motor rear-wheel drive costs just under $29,000, whilst the super long-range single-motor commands a price of $32,500. However, the cost for our test model, which is the all-wheel drive Halo version, will set you back $35,500. The 08 wears the new Lynk&Co front end styling with this kind of evolution of the daytime running lights. Now, we know that the internet is not always a pleasant place, and it dubbed the previous styling found on the Lynk&Co 09 and 03 as frog-faced. Mean is. But this evolution definitely has a different vibe. I call it techno origami frog vibe. The Lynk&Co 08 EMP is a masterclass in metal origami with folds, creases and crevices on every panel. And as someone who can barely fold a paper aeroplane that can fly more than 2 meters, I'm impressed. The blackened pillars and the darkened roof doing absolute wonders to lower that roof line visually. And the wing mirrors up there, which seem to be adhered to the door, have split opinion in the office. Do they look more like snorkels or street lamps? Settle the debate in the comments down below. And also you might notice that the daytime running lights at the front and the rear lights at the rear kind of wrap around at both ends. Pretty cool. Our car wore the optional 21-inch fan-style aero rims. I quite like them, but then again they do remind me of the aero rims on my own Neo ET7. Back here there's a few styling features. There's the integrated roof spoiler and a faux diffuser because, well, race car? There is actually a hidden integrated brake light up here, and these rear deflectors in this crevice mirror the front end's air ducts for brake cooling. There's also these daytime running lights that wrap around and meet this LED bar here in the middle. The light bar at the front and the rear looks super jazzy with this kind of piano key styling. Well, I mean, it would be rude not to, right? Honestly, the Lynk&Co 08 exterior styling has me in two minds. Sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't. Lynk&Co claim it's based on their the next day design language, like getting lucky on a night out and then waking up the next day in the stark, harsh daylight, maybe disagreeing with your previous perceptions of beauty. This is a tasty looking interior, Napa leather, fancy rose gold accenting, and a really cool light bar that stretches throughout the dash and into the speaker grills, pulsating through. On paper, the standard 8-speaker sound system seems to pale in comparison to this optional Harman Kardon 23-speaker, 1600 watt surround sound system with spatial audio. Unsurprisingly, it sounds fantastic. And as to be expected with a Geely product, fit and finish in here is supremely good. Up front you have a 12.3-inch instrument panel, a humongous 92-inch AR heads-up display, and a 15.4-inch 2K infotainment screen, which, by the way, is super slick and responsive, is powered by an eCar X and Tora 1000 Pro Double Dragon Eagle 1 chip. Don't worry, it sounds more concise in Chinese, trust me. It's also running the Meizu Flyme Auto OS in here. So there's no Android Auto or Snapdragon in here because, well, Geely invested into the smartphone maker Meizu quite a few years ago, and the Geely chairman invested into eCar X. And to be honest with you, judging by how snappy this infotainment system is, it's working out for them. A few silly grievances though, things like these dual wireless charging pads, which are actually just a single 50-watt wireless charging pad and one that's pretending to be. Or how about over-engineering? Check out these silly spinning cup holders. I mean, why? Or take this one, for example. If you want to open up the glove box, you have to delve into the menus in order to press a button to open it. But you have to manually close it. Surely putting a manual button would have just been a whole lot easier. Now, I've been one to moan, like other car reviewers, of the disappearance of physical buttons inside interiors, but I don't think that I can support suspect button placement. I mean, look where they've put the AI voice assistant button. Here, on the steering wheel at the bottom. I mean, it's just weird. And the doors, the grab handle is elegantly hidden away up here, but the unlock button is down here. It's a bit of an ergonomic nightmare. It's either a two-stage process or a double-handed job. So if you buy this car, enjoy explaining how to open the doors to every single passenger ever. The front seats lean nicely into Lynk&Co's kind of sporty design. They're nicely bolstered with great looking floating headrests that have integrated speakers for the driver. A nice touch. Both front seats get heat, ventilation and spa massage function, and the front passenger gets an extended calf rest. The rear bench has no heat or ventilation, but strangely does have spa massage function. Oh, you can also recline them manually. So in the back of the Lynk&Co 08 EMP, I mean, leg room is, it's really good back here. Headroom, it's decent. And in terms of the styling back here, it's as good as the front. You get this rose gold accent and the hidden grab handles. You also have that interior lighting coming through the speaker grills. In terms of other features, you have a USB-C and a USB-A socket back here for charging. You have two cup holders if you pull down this middle seat, and somewhere maybe to put your phone. You have a huge panoramic glass roof which can actually open, and in the back of the seats there are these kind of ports that allow you to add accessories like a table or an iPad holder. You can expect decent luggage space in the Lynk&Co 08. 545 litres with the second row up, and putting the second row down yields you 1,277 litres. Respectable numbers. The Lynk&Co 08 EMP is a PHEV, so it's got a battery, and that battery can fast charge. They say 30 to 80% in 28 minutes. The base single motor rear wheel drive has a 21.2 kilowatt hour pack from CATL and a claimed EV only range of 102 kilometers. The other single motor rear wheel drive, the super long range, has a larger 39.8 kilowatt hour battery from S-Volt and a claimed 205 kilometers of EV only range. If you move up to this dual motor, then you'll get a 39.6 kilowatt hour from CATL with an EV only range of 185 kilometers, and all models use the same 1.5 litre turbo 4-cylinder. That engine puts out 120 kilowatts of power and 255 newton meters of torque, and it's all fed through a 3-speed DHT or dedicated hybrid transmission. The rear-wheel drive versions have a single rear-mounted electric motor putting out 160 kilowatts and 350 newton meters of torque. Combined with the engine, those figures swell to 280 kilowatts and 650 newton meters of torque. No official word on acceleration though. However, the all-wheel drive versions have 2 electric motors and they put out 316 kilowatts and 604 newton meters combined. Add the engine power and the 08 all-wheel drive has a total of 426 kilowatts and 905 newton meters. But that huge torque figure doesn't translate into neck snapping speed. 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, but it's a laid-back ramp-up. It's McPherson struts up front and a multi-link in the rear. There's no clever air suspension or CDC in here, and it definitely feels like it drives on springs. But it's not uncomfortable. It definitely errs on the side of being more soft than hard and sporty. The driving is very Chinese, light steering input, light pedal input, but it's something you kind of get used to driving Chinese cars. The brake pedal, however, is solid and has a very good feel about it. ADAS? Yes. Level 2. Now that is a big catchment category, but as standard this has lane keep assist and ACC. It does a good job keeping itself in lane and maintaining speed and distance, but don't expect it to change lanes for you unless you upgrade to the optional highway NOA. Lynk&Co is kind of positioned as a sporty brand for, young people, but I wouldn't call this sporty. Powerful, yes, but it has no finesse. Although it kind of looks pretty low slung from the outside, you can definitely feel the heft of this vehicle in the corners. The Lynk&Co 08 EMP, banging interior, top-notch fit and finish with decent materials. It's more than powerful enough with a decent EV-only range for the daily grind. But like me, although good looking, it's hard for us to try and hide that little bit of extra weight. Sporty isn't how you define us, but hey, you can't win them all.